Hello, my name is Zephyr Carter, and I'm going to tell you about Requirement 3B of the Citizenship and the Nation Merit Badge. And basically, why is it important to divide the powers among the different branches? Uh, basically, the three branches do not actually, so that the three branches do not actually accumulate too much power and corrupt the rights of the citizens. And they act as literal weights and counterweights to the others, keeping each other in line and keeping things running smoothly in our country. That's really all there is to as to why it's important to divide the powers equally among them. Um, if you have, let's say, the executive branch, like the president, if he gets too much power, what that could mean is he's basically able is one person is basically able to like put his will across the entire country and enact laws and do all that. We can't have that, so that's why there's checks and balances to him, because the other branches, the judicial and the legislative, check his power. So like for example, the judicial branch can declare any actions that the president takes as unconstitutional. And the legislative branch can basically veto any actions that the president makes, and the legislative branch can even impeach the president if they want. But an interesting thing is actually said for, I guess, the other two. So the judicial branch can like how the judicial branch can actually say that any of the president's actions are unconstitutional. The judicial branch can also actually say that the legislative branch that any of the actions that the legislative branch does are unconstitutional. Um, uh, and there's also like a really cool check, like again, checks and balances on the judicial branch as well. The judicial branch can also the sorry, I meant the legislative branch basically has to approve any appointments that the president makes. Now, this is important because the president, which again is another like check and or balance to the judicial branch, the president appoints judges to the judicial branch. But Congress can also, in an act of checking and balancing the president and again the judicial branch, Congress can also say, actually, we basically have to approve you, and we basically have to like approve your like vote. We have to approve your appointments, Mr. President, or Mrs. President. Um, so yeah, there's many more checks and balances. Like for example, the judicial branch, once their Supreme Court justices are or like judges are appointed. Sorry. Once their Supreme Court justices are appointed, they're appointed for life, and they are actually free from presidential, basically meddling. So if the next president wants to come in and do some unconstitutional stuff, the president can't just make the judicial branch or the Supreme Court do what they want. Um, it's there's a lot of there's like a couple other checks and balances, but those are some of the really big ones. Checks and again, like I said, checks and balances are just they're really helpful and they're really cool to learn about.